To start making the engraver file, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click New from Template. When the template window comes up, I'm going to click the laser engraver template. Now the first thing I'm going to do is my board that I have is not quite the full size here. So if I come up to the top ruler, click and hold, and drag down, I'm going to put a line near the bottom of the page. Now I got really close here, but where you want this Y setting at is -16. Okay, that is the edge of the board. The board you have is 32 by 16. The laser engraver would hold something that's 32 by 18. So we put that on there just to make sure everything we do will stay on the board. The other thing I would suggest is that you get out this Object Properties menu. It makes it real handy for changing colors. So we'll go ahead and get our, we'll go to Import. We will go to our folder where we've saved everything. We will find our house model PDF. We're going to go ahead and import, and it's going to import text as text, which is fine because we'll actually get rid of it. And I'm going to put the top corner up in the top corner here. And it's going to put everything down and everything on the board. And it looks like all my edges look pretty good. So now here's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to actually change the outline color. So down here, and we want to do it first down here to make sure we set the color panel right. So the first thing is we're going to change width to hairline. All of our lines need to be hairline lines. Okay. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to change the color. Now we want to go to the color swatches. Okay. We want to make sure that we're on the RGB palette. So if yours doesn't say RGB, drop it down, go to the RGB palette. You can see it's the last one listed. It's not CMKY, it's RGB. You'll notice there's a difference in the blue. The blue in RGB will be much brighter blue. If you're not seeing the names, you can actually hit the 3 dots right here and tell it to show the color names. It's just real helpful here. So you do want to pick blue. Again, it wants to be the RGB blue, so it's this nice brighter blue. We're going to hit OK, and it should turn all the stuff to be blue lines. Now, what I will do is I will also click this, right-click it, and say ungroup all objects. Make sure you pick all objects because that's going to break everything apart into its smaller pieces. Ungroup all objects. So now I can come in here, and where I have text, I can highlight it and delete it and get rid of it. All right. Now, there is a lot going on. So we're going to look for a few different things. First off, there is some parts of this that you don't actually need. For example, in my view here, I have a small partial wall that I have the complete view of down below. So I don't need any of this right here. So I can go ahead and surround that with a box and hit delete and start getting rid of some of that stuff. Now, as you'll notice, there is some times where there are some lines that overlap. So you can click on them and delete those lines so that they go away. And yeah, that's going to be a much better look right there. So that'll work. The other things that I'm going to do here is you can see that some of these I have where the wall hits. I see 2 lines. So I can click on the extra line and get rid of it. And again, it might be there a couple times. And I'm going to do the same thing here. Actually, it's this line that I won't need. You can see this one's a little bolder. That tells me that it's the actual edge. All right, so I can clean some of these views up like this. I accidentally got rid of one of the lines there. That's actually okay because I'm going to end up tracing this. If you have any of the window symbols that have the arrows in them, you'll want to delete the arrows. Some of these where you're looking at a big sloping roof surface, this upper line actually can go away. That's not where it ends. This other line here is where it ends. And just be careful. Just understand what your how your selection tools work. If I drag a box and something is fully included in that box, it will select it and it will delete it. So you can clean up some of these views, and as you can see, that went in. This line is not needed. Again, just be very clear as to what you're actually deleting to make sure you're not getting rid of something that you need. I'm not going to make you watch me do this whole thing, but I did at least want to do parts of that. All right, so that's cleaning up the wall section. Let's actually come to the other side over here where my site plan is. First off, if you have a bunch of stuff inside your house, you can put boxes around it and delete it. We're using only really the outside line here. I mean, I'm going to leave the whole wall there showing, but really what I need is that outside line that's going to help me to align the walls when I put my model together. Now, what I do need to do is I need to change the very border of this, because blue will engrave on the board, which is great for a lot of these features. But we also want the laser to cut in certain places. So I'm going to click on some of these lines and change them to red. This is where, again, the object properties, you can see the blues right here. And if I just click on it, I can change that to red. And I can actually do several parts at once. If I would like to, I can hold shift and I can click multiple lines. And I'm just going to go ahead and change them to red right now and see if I'm missing anything. I think I'm missing the ends by where the sidewalk is. Yeah. So we'll grab that line. I think I'm missing the same one on the other side. Yes, I am. Change those both to red. Perfect. So where the lines are red, the laser will cut through the material. Where the lines are blue, it will just burn a line into them, and that's exactly what we want for this. Now, on my roof pieces here, I can do some cleanup there as well. I'm just going to come down to one of these, do a little cleanup as far as the extra lines go. I don't need those. I don't need the angled line. I actually don't need this edge line here. I really just need the panel. Because remember, these are, sorry, if we drag this way, we can get that. This is really just what I need. By the way, you can, if you'd like, click on this and move it around. But what you need here is you need your lines to all be red. Okay? Because that's what it's going to do. So I'm going to take and I'm going to do all of my roof panels like this. Okay? Real quick, just to make other stuff a little easier, I'm going to move this one as well. Lastly, I'm going to come over to the walls. Now, you've seen me. I've already done some cleanup with the walls. What I want to do is, first off, if you see any of the lines that look, especially like in this view, look extra bold, you can see the bottom line here looks pretty thick. You've just got a bunch of lines that are over top itself. So you can sit here and kind of clean this up. One of the other things you could do is you can highlight just that bottom area there and delete it, and you still have a guide right here, which will be fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to find my 2-point line. And when I set my 2-point line, I want it to be hairline and red in the RGB menu. There we go, RGB palette. Down one, here's red. So again, we're red and we're hairline. And I'm going to go from the node there. This one, since I deleted the line, I don't have a node, but I can watch myself draw horizontally. And I can draw from node down to perpendicular. And then I can come back, if I get my pointer tool, and I can drag this back to the node. So we are like that. Perfect. I've got some extra lines, it looks like, up here. So I'm going to basically just delete that whole top area there and go from node to node, node to node, node to node. Now, I like to be able to see the other end, so that's why I'm going to zoom out and go node to node there. Perfect. Go node to node here. And we'll go node to node down there. And then where the line needs to be cut, I'm again going to go node to node. So I'm going to do that on all my sides, anywhere where I need a cut. So if I have a wall that needs to be separated in the same view, I will draw through it. But basically, I'm going to trace right around it. I can get rid of the walls, especially if there's extra lines there. But take your time doing that. And you're going to complete that on your entire drawing here. So when you're all done, or during your progress, when you do save or save as, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go into this PC, scroll all the way down, find EHS, then Student Share, Engineering Tech, Lab Share, and find the folder for our class. In the folder for our class, you're going to want to make a new folder, name it your last name, a dash, and then your first initial. Open that folder up, and in here, this is where you're going to want to put your engraver file. Name it something that makes sense. I am going to be Simple House Model Engraver File, and in here is where it goes, and I'm going to hit save. And again, make sure you do this stuff and this stuff to all the roof stuff, but get it all the way finished before you go to cutting it. But this is how you create the model file. Also, don't forget, you do have to turn a copy of this file or a picture of the file in on Schoology to show that you've done all the work.